In today's video, we're going to be having some chats about tapering and about a bit of a disaster I've had the last week or so with my training. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy. Team, happy Sunday. I am running, which is nice because it's been a little while. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not that long, but I had 6 days off running for the first time in a very long time. So for a bit of context, we'll rewind. I'll insert some clips from last Saturday's long run. Did 50Ks and didn't feel great the whole time. I just felt pretty tired. Just didn't, I don't know, felt like I wasn't in my prime. And then crashed pretty hard later that day. And then basically I've been sick since, so some sort of cold flu situation. Won't bore you with the details, but basically I've not been able to run since then, which, yeah, I was going to say two minds, but I'm in a few minds about it. Like, partly it's probably the best timing if I was going to get sick, because I was going to be tapering anyway, so not training quite as much. Like, that was going to be my final long run and then taper. And if it had been 2 or 3 weeks later, it would have been right when the race was, which would have been very disappointing. And if it was much earlier, I would have missed like a big chunk of key training time. So realistically, it was ideal timing if it's going to happen at any time. So despite all of that, I want to talk to you about tapering and how I would typically approach a taper. The taper that I've done this time around is a bit more dramatic than usual. I basically went from 100Ks per week to 10Ks in a week, which was obviously not intentional. What I would normally try and do is reduce my volume by about 40 to 60%. So if I was on 100K weeks at the peak of my training, I'd then look to reduce to 60 kilometers, 40 kilometers, and then race week I would keep things pretty light. So we're now just less than 2 weeks away. It was 2 weeks yesterday. I'm a bit lost. I accidentally took the trail. Oh, there we go. I'm going to walk up this hill. That's the other thing. So I ran yesterday and it was hard. I was jogging like 7 minutes 30 per kilometer, which is slower than my usual pace. But the good thing was, it's kind of backyard ultra pace. I'm sure 7 minutes 30 gets you like, I'll put the numbers on the screen, but a decent amount of time to rest for backyard. So without even realizing it, I was doing some race pace efforts, which is so funny because what I was actually doing was trying to keep my heart rate as low as possible and walking every 5 minutes. And I feel okay. Like, I never want to encourage running through sickness because I think it just makes things worse and takes longer to recover from. And I think that's why it's taken me a week and I'm still not 100%, is probably because I was probably sick without fully realizing, and then ran 50Ks while, my body was fighting something in the background, which partly I think is great because I could get through 50S while under the weather, but I also think now it has really delayed this process and significantly affected my training. But again, it's not the worst time. The bulk of the work has been done. I wouldn't have done heaps of running this week anyway, so it's not too dramatic. Just a quick interruption because I suddenly had a thought. I don't know if people on here know about the podcast. I just assumed that's where people come from to hear. But if you don't know, check out the podcast, links below. 190 episodes out there, so plenty to catch up on. It has been raining all weekend, and now, I don't know if you can see, the sun and blue sky have decided to come out, which is really nice. I was kind of keen for like a rainy run because I feel as though that's quite therapeutic and refreshing, but I'm grateful to see the sun and feel the warmth. And if you haven't run in Lane Cove National Park before, like, it is glorious. The best part is there's this road loop, or just road out and back, or parallel to that is a trail loop. So you can pick and choose depending on how you feel. I am playing it safe today and sticking to the road because I don't want to use the mental energy to be dodging tree roots and risking an ankle sprain when I'm not in my optimal state. So the road it is, but luckily it's just as beautiful. Alright, I think I jinxed myself. I was asking for the rain and it's here. It's quite refreshing. If it stays like this, I think we're good. There's a real spectrum of rain that I enjoy running in, and the real sweet spot. If it goes beyond that, it just gets a bit irritating. But for now, it's feeling very misty and rainforesty, and yeah, not too bad. Anyway, back to tapering. So yes, a reduction in training load is the most important factor. Depending on your event, maintaining your intensity is also recommended. So not necessarily reducing your intensity, but just reducing your training volume. So for example, if you would normally, in your peak week, you might do 10 by 1k as your speed session, and those 1k efforts might be at 5k race pace or 8 out of 10 RPE. In your taper, you might reduce that to, let's say, 8 by 500 in the first week of the taper, still at the same RPE and intensity. So your pace or effort or RPE or however you monitor intensity will stay the same. You'll just be doing less of it. And then in the week before the race, in your second week of taper, reduce it even again. You might do something like 6 by 300 or something short, sharp, enough to get the legs turning over and feeling like you're moving well, but not so much that you'll be fatigued and sore from it. We really want to keep the legs fresh and soak up all those adaptations. We've spent months and months training quite hard and really pushing the limits of what we can handle. So in order to make the most of that and adapt from that and benefit from it, we really need this reduction. Otherwise we're going to go into the race feeling overcooked, fatigued, sore, slow, sluggish. So reduce training load, maintain intensity. Some people like to maintain their frequency, but if you're running 6 days a week, probably not ideal. I've been having a little think about why runners struggle with tapering so much, and I think there's lots of reasons. I think partly the huge contrast from doing your biggest peak week, massive long run, big sessions, to then this sudden huge drop in almost half of your training volume. It feels like such a contrast. And in the early weeks of your training, your taper week is probably not too dissimilar to that. It's low in volume, pretty short sessions, not a big long run. But when you've been stacking these big weeks continuously for a while, the big drop, I think, is why things feel so, uncertain, and you're a bit confused and you're feeling like you haven't done enough or you've done too much, and there's all these questions. And it's been really interesting for me, like from a week ago, running 50Ks, and despite not feeling optimal 100% health-wise, I still did it and it was okay. Like I got through it, finished it, the pace was reasonable. To then, a few days later, having not run for a few days, it's amazing how quickly you can suddenly think, like, did I actually do that? Can I actually run that again? Like, surely that was a fluke. Surely, like, I didn't actually, that was all just a bit of a joke. Like, you really suddenly start to doubt that you've got any ability to do it, because I think it becomes so routine and so normal that you just have these back-to-back long runs and you just get through them and they're just part of the routine. As soon as that's taken away, I don't know about you, I'd love to hear in the comments, but I start to think like, oh, do I actually know how to run? Like, can I actually run more than a few Ks? Can I run an ultra? Like, I want to run so far at this backyard ultra, but I don't even think I can do 10Ks anymore. Like, it suddenly flips. And I know from a physiological science standpoint that you can't lose fitness that quickly, and it's not how it works. But mentally it's really hard to ignore that feeling and not think that you've just done all this work but now suddenly it's just doesn't count for anything anymore. So yeah, really interesting. Yeah, I would love to hear in the comments your thoughts on tapering, and is it something you struggle with? Do you enjoy the newfound freedom and extra time you've got and extra energy you might have, or do you struggle with the change in routine, doing less, slowing down, and doubting yourself? So with having a bit of extra free time this week, I've spent a couple of hours watching some backyard ultra documentaries, some with Phil Gore and Sam Harvey and some of the big dogs, and it's very interesting watching them work. And there's not heaps of info online about how to approach a backyard ultra, and I think it just hasn't been done that much yet. There's just less resources than a marathon. There would be endless training plans and resources and YouTube videos and people online talking about it, but backyard ultra I think is still a little bit just under research, not really spoken about heaps. So I've just been trying to kind of visualize and get in the mindset and just like understand a little bit more about how these great people do it. And I just wish there was a way to like see in their heads and understand what they're thinking, and I'd love to know how much pain they're in and how much they then push, because I feel like for me last year I was really in the mindset of not getting injured and being not willing to push through anything that felt like dangerous or risky. And so that's not really the reason I stopped, but as soon as I felt like I couldn't do any more, I stopped. And realistically, that 100k mark was the first time I felt any real strong resistance to keep going. Like, there were definitely moments earlier suffering with blisters and just like being tired and hot and just not wanting to do it, but that was the first time where it was like everything telling me to stop. And I wonder, like, is that point where these people then start? Like, is that the next phase? Is that what I'm meant to push into to find what I'm capable of? Like, it didn't feel like, oh, I'm a little bit sore, I should stop. It was very much like everything's telling me my body is not functioning anymore. I'm in so much pain, I can't take another step. That's how it felt in my head. But I wonder if I just tried that next step, like I got up, stood at the start line and just turned around. But I wonder, like, if I'd walked a few steps, if I tried to do a lap of the showground, like, would I have eventually gotten into a bit of a rhythm and kept going? So I'm really just trying to like visualize a certain number and really trying to get to that point. And I think part of that will be, and I know I said this last year and I just didn't follow through, but to be honest, no, I need to rephrase what I said last year. Last year I said I need to start the lap. Like, I need to not finish in the chair, and I did that last year. I got up, started it and turned straight around, but I think this time I need to think like I need to actually attempt the lap. Like, I know that I can stop at any point, but maybe I need to do a lap of the showground and then call it, because I just feel as though our bodies just have such a capability to push more than we thought they could. And I think now with my experience from last time, and I'll know if there was a serious pain that was an injury related pain, and I'm not going to be stupid and cause myself a long-term injury if I have the choice. But I think what I can do now is get to that point of real, genuine, true struggle and think, okay, like, we're here now, like, this is the part where I can keep going and like find something deeper in myself and do more than I ever thought I could, or I can stop. And it's really hard in hindsight, because at the time when I stopped last year, like, it seriously felt like I just could not do another step. But I just wonder if I could have, like, and I think that's the trouble with this type of event is, I don't know if you'd ever finish not regretting finishing or not feeling like you could have done a little bit more. Just the nature of the lack of finish line, unless you're the winner, it's hard to know, if you truly hit your potential. So I'm excited to explore that a little bit more this year, and I'm really gonna just try and work on my mindset and tap into a bit of visualization and just really try and hone in on embracing the discomfort sitting in it, like leaning into it, all of that stuff, I think will be the thing that pushes me to go that little bit further. I always forget to wrap these videos up. They always just end suddenly. So thank you for watching. There was no real cohesive thoughts there, but just more a bit of a chat and a brainstorm, and I really enjoy going for a run and having a chat with you, so thank you for being here. Oh, cool. Well, you can be on it today. Welcome to the channel. This is Jerry, training for UTA.
Hi.
That's so cool. Not sure what I was saying, but shout out to Jerry. Good luck at UTA. Nice to meet you on the run this morning. And yeah, we've got some more videos coming. Going to be talking about nutrition and pacing strategies for the backyard, and then hoping to get heaps of content on the race day itself. Hopefully Lydia will put on her content hat and get some behind the scenes clips for you. Thank you so much for the support. Thanks for the comments and likes and all that good stuff. If you haven't yet checked out the podcast, that's our main thing. This is just a little extra bit of fun. So Stronger Stride podcast, links below for some much more concise, planned, quality content. This is just a bit of fun. Thanks, team.